Start Me Up with Roisin and Chleirigh.
Good afternoon. You're tuned and listening in to Community Radio Kilkenny City, 88.7 FM, with me, Roisin and Chleirigh, on Monday the 6th of January on the Start Me Up business programme. A huge thank you to Anne-Marie Hogan for her beautiful show this afternoon between 2 and 4 p.m. and a very happy Nollaig Manon to all our female listeners here on Community Radio Kilkenny City. You're very welcome back to the first show of Start Me Up Business Programme here on Community Radio. The Start Me Up Business Programme is specifically aimed at start-up businesses here in Kilkenny. And as I said, you're listening to Roisin and Chleirigh. A business programme specifically aimed at start-up businesses from the initial start-up phase all the way to the surviving first 2 years of a start-up to the 5-year thriving stage of the business. Plus business entrepreneurs who have thrived and succeeded in their start-up, who will share their nuggets of wisdom on their journey of entrepreneurship to inspire start-up business owners. On this first Start Me Up business programme on Monday the 6th of January 2020, the first and the day that's in it for Nollaig Manon, I am thrilled and delighted to have in studio two local ladies who specialise in nutrition with the aim and purpose to help people feel better by creating a diet lifestyle programme specifically for each client. If you are a start-up business and would like to have a specific start-up business programme relating to any issues, topics or questions to be discussed here on the Start Me Up Business Programme, please do get in touch with Laura at reception and email info@communityradiokilkennycity.ie or text us on 086 353 7782. And don't forget, we are streaming live on www.communityradiokilkennycity.ie. Beoga Nutrition is a nutrition therapy clinic on Parliament Street run by Jenny White and Linda Murray. The company is almost 1 year old after the ladies joined forces from their respective nutrition clinics. They help people feel better by creating a diet and lifestyle programs specifically for clients. Jenny and Linda, you're both very welcome to Start Me Up business programme.
Thanks, Roisin.
You have both been on the Woman to Woman show here on Community Radio about a year ago, I think, when you first started up.
Yeah, we were here before, and we were here I think in October maybe as well, together actually, so it's great to be back, and thank you for having us.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So Jenny and Linda, you both previously worked professionally in a corporate world and food and medical devices and had a career path change. Jenny, your background is in corporate law.
In legal, that's right, yeah. I spent a decade working in different law firms and legal offices. It's a little bit like having a split personality going from legal work to nutrition, but it was well worth it. It was what I wanted to do.
And Jenny, you were in food and medical devices. That was your career.
Yeah, I worked in the food industry for 10 years first. My primary degree is in food science, so that's where I started making the ingredients that we use. And then I had a transition from there into medical devices and the pharma industry for the last 10 years actually, 12 years. And halfway through, I'd always wanted to do nutrition and, dietetics kind of thing. But when I finished college, I'd applied to my postgrad and I just hadn't got the heart to go back and, spend another couple of years doing a postgrad. So I went back to college when my son was a baby and did nutritional therapy, so it was a lovely complement to my primary degree, so I was delighted with it and loved every minute of it, because it's hard work going back, when you're working full time trying to juggle life outside of work, and then you put yourself into like a 4-year part-time course on top of it. It's a big commitment, but I always loved the course, so it made it very easy to see it through to the end. It was fabulous.
I think that's a really good point, is when for me, back in the day, I didn't enjoy studying or school or anything like that, whereas when I found the nutrition course, I loved going to college at weekends. A Saturday and a Sunday morning, I'd be up earlier and I was pumped, and you'd be hyper going home after the day because the information was just so interesting. So you know you're doing the right thing when you don't mind going to college.
Yeah. And even this morning we were just saying, there's a lot of people not really looking forward to going back to work after the Christmas holidays. I was really excited to get back to work, and it's so, like, I know it's a startup and we've a lot to do and we've a lot of exciting plans for the new year, but I was just so excited to get back into it. It's just, we really enjoy what we do, and I think, our clients feel that from us when we meet them too, which is great.
And that's great, because you can, not when you feel it, you can hear it.
Yeah.
And that is something that is so powerful. It's the why. That's where I'm leading on to the next step is, what was the deciding factors? The why and when did you decide the world of health and nutrition was a new career change and a choice for the two of you?
I suppose we started our journeys separately and only joined earlier, say this time last year kind of a timeline. But for me, I just didn't have that satisfaction of, I just felt something was missing, and I didn't want to just be on the treadmill of going to work, just checking in, checking out kind of thing. Whereas I really enjoyed nutrition and the learning, and I was really excited at the thought of having a career in that. And it was just that kind of sense of purpose. Sounds a bit cliche, but it just felt like the right career move. And I mean, I only found nutrition later on in my late 20s. It wasn't something I always knew I wanted to do, but once I started watching documentaries and reading books and articles, I just couldn't get enough and thought, oh, this is for me.
Yeah, and I suppose the difference with me is because I had done food technology in college, there was always those subjects that I really enjoyed, and there was subjects that I didn't really enjoy in college, but the nutrition side of it I loved. And I suppose I was also lucky in that I grew up in a house where a lot of food was home cooked. I grew up on farms. It was all very natural, and you could see the benefits to people. And then at a period of time later, we moved from the farm to a supermarket, and seeing the difference of how other people did their shopping and seeing the difference in their health. And, talking to them over the years, you could see that some people just didn't have the same luxury of knowing how to cook or enjoying food or anything that came with it. So I loved the science side, but I actually loved the practical side of good food and enjoying preparing and that side of it as well. So, but I was lucky because of my degree. I knew from then it was just to try and figure out once you start working, it's very difficult to figure out how do you fit in something else on top of it. But as Jenny said, once I started studying, there's no doubt in my mind, and I really enjoyed it.
Like, we are like two kids hyper going off to certain conferences. Yeah. Like, we really look forward to them, and we are wired coming home.
It's really sad. We're complete nerds, and I mean, I suppose that's the disadvantage of what we do. We could spend all day, every day, reading and researching and going through research papers, but like, the reality is, if you're coming into clinic to meet us, you don't want to know about a research paper. You want to know what can you do on a day-to-day basis within the confines of your lifestyle, whatever that means, or within a family setting or within your work setting or whatever's going on, to try and help you to feel better. So our job is to translate the nerd stuff into something that you can do easily and make sense and is applicable, and you understand the why we're recommending it and why you're doing it, and that you're actually feeling the benefits. And that's
well, that's one half of the challenge. I suppose that's the customer side, but then as we're saying, yeah, it's great, the nerdy stuff, but then the business side is entirely different. You have to go from having your head buried in research papers and trying to keep up to date with that kind of side, and then you need to switch on, actually, did I do the accounts this week? Where is our marketing? Who's doing the social media? It's admin side, the whole other business side. It's challenging to do both, but...
Well, we'll come to that a little bit later on, because that's very important, because you two are a two-woman band in doing everything, because when you're self-employed, when you worked, as you were saying before, in the corporate world, you just had to phone IT, phone accounts, phone marketing, PR department, and they sort of filed emailed everything
team
to
behind you.
Yeah,
there's 400 people plus in my office.
Yes. So then you go down to a one-woman band, which comes to that point. You both were, when you left your professional corporate worlds in the corporate law and in food and
pharma,
you then decided then to go back to college, study, and get your degree in nutrition. And then set up in your own businesses. Before you became a 2-woman band, you were a 1-woman band. And I'm interested to sort of find out, and I'm very curious, is how did you decide to actually join forces?
We didn't know each other, and we were going to one of those conferences that Jenny had mentioned. We were going to a conference in Galway 2 years ago, I think it was, at this stage. And I actually knew Jenny's brother, and I was like, well, he's lovely, so Jenny must be lovely, so I might just send her a message and see if she'd like a lift to Galway. So we touched base and we started chatting, and we probably haven't stopped since. Yeah, essentially we just clicked straight away, and we just got on really well, and we'd very similar
ethos about the whole thing, really,
and passion for the whole thing. And you know, we were working individually. Well, I was working within an organisation. I was working for a lovely company, but they're Dublin based, and I just felt it was time to kind of take a step back from that and do my own thing in Kilkenny. But it's a lonely business, and setting up a business on your own is very lonely, and nutrition, you know, it's difficult to do on your own. So we were chatting one day and we came up with this bright idea that 2 heads are better than 1. And I suppose the beauty of it is, while we'd been working individually, we'd slightly different special areas of interest, so there's absolutely no conflict between, if there's people walking through the door, it's very easy to see who the best, like some people will come in and could see either of us, but some people will come in and will be very definitely, Jenny will be more suitable to see them than me, and that's great. We have that, so we've a wider catchment area between us than we had individually as well. And we have the strength of Jenny is very strong at some areas, I'm stronger at other areas, so we have that benefit of not being complete, what did my son say yesterday, newbies on all of these, on everything we're trying to do. We have a combined, we're stronger together than we would be individually.
Absolutely.
And we're a small organisation, you know, as nutritional therapists, it's a small organisation within the country, so we definitely should be supporting each other, you know, to
I know I was
business.
Practicing myself beforehand, and it's funny, kind of careful what you wish for. When I was in the larger offices, all I wanted was my own business, and I thought that's the answer to everything. But when I actually got there and it was just me in the room trying to do everything, I really didn't like it, and it was very lonely and just wasn't for me. So having somebody else then has made the world of difference, and it's really trial and error. You know, at one point I thought that was the answer to everything, but turns out it's not.
And you know, you complement one another, you know, but you know how everybody says work to your strengths. Whereas you say one area of expertise, maybe Jenny's or Linda, might be Linda's, and you complement one another.
Completely.
So that was one of the whys that you joined forces.
Well, I suppose we kind of buried our heads in the sand a little bit. We hadn't even figured that bit out. I think we knew we got on well. We knew that we'd have the same passion for our company together. We, to be quite honest, naively, we hadn't sorted all that stuff out before we set up.
You only learn as you go along, kind of, and until a new task presents itself, and then it's like, oh, actually, I'm terrible at this. Thank God Linda is a ninja on Microsoft Excel or something like that, because Granny here can't work it.
But we have, like Jenny, be a lot more artistic. Do you know, there's a lot of things that we hadn't realised we do. Kind of, there's areas that I'm just really bad on, there's areas Jenny's much better on, and vice versa, and that has worked out brilliantly. And there's areas that neither of us can do and we need to get outside help. Do you know, and I suppose that's one of the things in any business training I've ever done, they would always say you can't do it all yourself, and there's no point, like, you'd be naive to think you can. So the clever person will figure out what they can and can't do, and they'll draft in help, hopefully unpaid help in a lot of situations, but we draft in help where we need it to try and get us to where we need to be, you know. And that's the reality of a startup. Until we're making our millions and we've got a team of people reporting to us, we just have to muddle through some of these tasks. But I suppose the disadvantage of doing that is it takes a little bit longer to get stuff done, because we're not as good as we probably need to be or should be to do them, but we're really good at being nutritional therapists, so that's
where we're starting.
Yeah, we're doing the rest of it around that.
Yeah, and the rest will follow.
The rest will follow, and it is following. You know, we're we're muddling through the other stuff, you know.
Go in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that happens with all startups, you know, and because you are, although you were both working independently before, it's a new startup that you have because you have your collaboration and join forces. So tell us about the initial startup phase for Beoga Nutrition. Did you have any specific strategy or plan?
Yes and no. I suppose I know we did. We had lots of different plans and strategies and goals and things. And I suppose we're not even a full year in business yet. So I suppose we're still within that startup phase. I suppose you kind of tackle things as they arrive. Initially, it was okay. Let's get the premises set up. Then it was okay, we need documents set up, we need this. Okay, now we need to register with labs and all sorts of different things. So lots of challenges just present themselves and you deal with them as you go along. And then I suppose we have other strategies that we're actively working on, trying to keep lots of different plans moving forward.
But even for the first 6 months, sorry to interrupt you there, Jenny, for the first 6 months we were both still doing some contracting work for other companies. And that's the reality of, you know, when you're not as busy as you want to be at the beginning, you still have to make money. You know, the bills still need to be paid, and that's a very difficult transition from when you're a PAYE worker to being self-employed. Like, the bills don't go away just because you've decided that you've got your dream job. Like, that's the reality. And we were never expecting the first year to pay all the bills for us, but we had to just make that compromise. So until...
And it is a big compromise, and you do have to... I mean, you could get terribly stressed about the whole thing, but you have to just kind of say it's par for the course and keep working and keep your eyes on the prize. But yeah, you do still have to keep a roof over your head, which is tricky. Yeah.
And so we were both, like, our startup, I was actually just saying to Jenny this morning, like, I think it was September before we were both fully 100% of our time committed to this business. And then we had, you know, a lot of things going on for the second half of the year. So it's been really busy. And, you know, as she said, we now have plans for this year to move us to the next level. But now we're both working at it full time. And, you know, it's a big difference from PAYE to working individually to starting all over again, and it's rebranding and new websites and trying to get our name out there and getting
and everything
premises
costs
straight.
money as well. Do you know, there's a lot of investment, you know, blood, sweat, tears, money, the whole works.
Time.
And that's something where I was going to come up to next. You're talking about everything costs money. Did you have a budget? A lot of people have budgets and some people don't have budget, and they just go out there and start up a business. Or they may have a small budget.
Well, when we started up, we both put in X amount each.
A small budget.
Yeah, a very small budget. And we were lucky in that sense, in that we don't need massive overheads or machines or a big investment like that, which was great. So we just put in X amount, and then everything we've earned in the business has gone back into the business. We haven't actually been earning anything ourselves. Again, par for the course, but it's kind of everything is just going back in to bring it forward and forward at the moment anyway. That's where we're at.
Yeah, so we didn't even want to invest big money. We were kind of saying, you know, our product is the service we provide. So, like, probably a lot of the investment last year was in our training, because we love it, but it's also essential. It's essential for us to maintain our membership of the organisation we're in, to maintain our insurance. We have to do it.
Everything, yeah.
We have to do this continuous professional development every year, but we do also really enjoy it. So that there was a huge investment in that, and there will be every year. But other than that, like, we haven't spent a huge amount of money on anything besides our startup costs, really, and our overheads, obviously. And after that, then it's just, we need to get our name out there so that people know who we are, what we do, and how we can help them. Do you know, that's the big thing.
So, what is the main purpose of Beoga, and what would your client's profile be?
Our profile is varying slightly at the moment. It's changing slightly. So we kind of have the way we have set up the business. We're nutritional therapists. So essentially what we do is we help people to... Our motto is we help people to feel better. And how we do that is we come up with individualised diet and lifestyle plans for somebody. So, for example, Roisin, if you come to me and you say, Linda, I have a health issue, I have a concern that I have, and I've been to everybody and I'm not getting any relief and I need some relief, and we will sit down and we will go through what your health goals are. We'll look at your diet, we'll look at all of your different lifestyle factors, and we'll come up with a plan within your lifestyle so we can try and get your symptoms under control and get you feeling better. So I suppose speciality wise, I work a lot with thyroid, female health, so things like ladies who are anything from PMS to fertility to menopause to osteoporosis to low energy. From that side of things, digestion is another huge area, and that's a big area for a lot of people, whether they realise it or not. We often will have somebody who will come in with a severe menopausal issue and will actually end up starting with digestive issues that they didn't realise were connected. So that's a lot of it. You know, we're always going to have people who come in who want to lose a few pounds, but actually when you start scratching at the surface, they'll have other health issues that will have contributed to their weight issues. We'll work on that. And Jenny, then she's special. You can talk for yourself. Sorry.
Well, yeah, no, like as Linda said, the bottom line is always we help people feel better. That's always the goal, no matter who comes in, whether it's someone who just wants a few changes or someone who wants a massive overhaul. You know, mood, mental health, and digestive health are my two special interest areas. I'm doing a lot of research on them at the moment for my master's, and it's very interesting, but it's really down to the individual. So one person might come in and, you know, we might just have to start small for them. It might be, okay, Mary, more water, let's get some more vegetables and let's cap it there. You know, someone else might want an entire overhaul of, we give them breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, very specific plans. It varies depending on who comes in, but ultimately making people feel better is the goal always.
Yeah, and the other thing, I suppose, there's no magic bullet. So if somebody comes in, and I had this conversation with a lady, you know, a couple of months back, she came in with digestive issues, and I was like, she actually said to me at one point, is there a tablet you can give me? And I said, no, you're on the tablet and the tablet isn't working for you. But this lady had been suffering with digestive issues for 10 years. And I said, it's going to take us a period of time to try and fix this. So anybody who wants to work with us needs to realise that it's small steps done on a regular basis. That's what helps them to feel better, and then they continue to feel better. But we see huge improvements in people so quickly that they're blown away by not you know, if somebody comes in and they, like January, this is the perfect week for people who've given up drink, they're never eating chocolate again, they're going to the gym every day. Do you know, like they'll throw everything at it because they're feeling miserable after Christmas with the excesses. But in 3 weeks time, I think it's 22 days, it's all gone away because it's just not sustainable. So we introduce small changes over an extended period of time until they become a habit and they become the norm, and then people can feel better and they can manage to do it on an ongoing basis.
Well, we're just going to go for an ad break. Do stay tuned because Jenny White and Linda Murray from Beoga Nutrition will still be with us after the break.
We are Community Radio Kilkenny City 88.7 FM.
You're listening to Start Me Up with Roisin and Chleirigh.
You're very welcome back to the Start Me Up business programme presented by your host, Roisin and Chleirigh. I am talking to very lovely ladies from Beoga Nutrition who set up their own nutrition company here in Kilkenny in Parliament Street, and it's just across the road from the Bank of Ireland. Am I right? That's right. And the little green door, and it's in between the.
We have a white door.
A white door.
Yeah.
Why is it green? Oh, the green
grocer.
Green grocer and Gerard's.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
we're sandwiched between the two of those.
Yeah.
There's a big red apple on the door in case anybody couldn't see us.
I always say, go to the Bank of Ireland and look across the road and you'll see the door and the apple.
That's bingo.
So, you know, we talked about your initial startup phase. We talked about, you know, why you joined forces. Did you have a budget, and who the client's profile who you generally sort of serve. And I can hear through speaking to you your passion, that you both are so passionate about your business and your products and your service. Do you have products?
Products, I suppose, in a sense. Well, actually, we've just bought a new vitamin D reader machine. I don't know if that's a service really rather than a product.
We don't have products per se. We do, like our product is the service that we provide, so we don't
We have
you
the
know.
odd supplement, but that's really it.
We have a very small stock of supplements, just if somebody is leaving and we recommend something for them on a short-term basis, that they'll have it walking out the door, just
It
if
helps
it suits them. And
compliance.
it's completely, because we have seen that with the best of intentions, if they don't get to the health food shop or whatever, they just don't get started on their journey, and then they don't feel the benefits. And that's what we want. We want somebody to start feeling the benefits very quickly, so then once they've got the belief in themselves that they can do something or adhere to something, then it's easier for, to get them. It's that cycle of, once they start feeling better, it's easier for them to do it.
Yeah, true. Once you're feeling better.
Yeah, but it's a service we provide. So we do one-to-one consultations. We do some corporate work. As Jenny mentioned, we've recently got a vitamin D testing machine. So with a finger prick test, we can now get your vitamin D measurement done. And that's really important, because vitamin D is essential to modulate your immune system. It's involved in bone health. It's involved in inflammation. It's involved in energy. It's involved in
And they'd say,
huge amount of.
sorry to interrupt you there, but they'd say 1 in 8 in Ireland is deficient in vitamin D. And the beautiful thing about our machine is you can get the results in 15 minutes. Yeah, so 20 minutes in, out, you're done, kind of thing. And
Mood. Sorry, that was another one. I knew there was another something. It's hugely involved in low
in mood.
disease. Can we
like they'd say the rays on the sun now are so weak that in Ireland we get absolutely nothing until at least March. So unless you're eating like kind of organ meats or oily fish, some eggs, you're not going to be getting your vitamin D in. And in fact, every test I've done so far, everybody has been deficient, some more so than others. But yeah, so we're trying to build all the time to increase our offering to clients. So to give them, like, people love a test result or a number or something, because it's there in front of them, and it's actually what's going on underneath their skin, as opposed to us hypothesizing that maybe you need this or that.
And like, even people ask us about supplements, we would hypothetically, there's loads of supplements you can recommend for a condition for somebody, but if somebody's vitamin D isn't low, for example, and we're saying, oh, you should spend money on vitamin D, it may not be of any benefit, and it's just a cost to them. Whereas if we know what's actually going on, we have other tests that we do with some external labs, and when we're offering those tests and people come in and say, okay, so you need this, this and this, take those for 3 months, and we would expect to see a result from that. And often you'll have a dramatic improvement, because you know exactly what you're dealing with. There's no crystal ball required. You see exactly what's happening. And often, as we mentioned earlier, people will come to us when they've kind of exhausted any other avenue, which it's a shame, really, because you eat a number of times a day, and every time you feed yourself, you have the opportunity to nourish your body or not, contribute to
it's a bit extreme, but you can poison it either.
You can fuel it and do really well, or not. And people forget that food is actually very powerful. And unfortunately, with even you see a lot of the advertising now, it's like, oh, grab your fast food here, grab your takeaway here. There's apps now, everything will be delivered to your door. It's not that difficult to pull together quite a wholesome, simple, inexpensive meal, but it does take a little bit of preparation and a bit of planning to do that. So often we will work on those areas, not for every meal. I mean, we live in a world where I love cooking, and I don't have time to be cooking 3 meals every day, but just to try and get in the basics most of the time, and people will always benefit from it.
Yeah.
Jenny, you also have a background in neuro-linguistic program, NLP, like myself. And how has this benefited you as a nutritionist and working with your clients?
I suppose it's just another tool in the box, really, Roisin, and it helps kind of. You always have to have somebody on board to understand why they're doing something, or they'll never do it. It just won't make sense. So you need to kind of get that light bulb moment with someone. So I suppose maybe for me, I would kind of phrase my questions differently, or try to motivate a client using some of those techniques. I don't see clients one-to-one just for NLP. No.
But you use that in your consultation.
Yeah, just for myself, really, to try and, as I said, motivate them, steer them, and help keep the focus on.
And ascertaining information from your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, body language or different things can tell you a lot more than words can. So it comes into play in different ways.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting back to your branding and your marketing, your promotion, I love your logo.
Thank you.
I really do love your logo. Did you have a sort of a strategy in forming and your venture together from a business, financial to branding, marketing? Because when you say, okay, we're going to sell it for business, first of all, you've got to get the name. You've got to get the branding right of the logo, the face of the business, the logo, and then then branding it, marketing, and then promoting to connect with your target audiences. How did you go about designing your Beoga logo? 'Cause I love it.
Well, thanks a million. We love it too.
It took a while.
We spent a lot of back and forth on the name. Like, I'd say our phones were just red hot. What do you think of this? No. Do you like this? No. And then we'd find one that we liked and we'd throw it out to our families and they'd say no. Or someone would love it. So that went on for a good while. And then we hit on Beoga, which is Irish for vitality. And we just liked it. It clicked. We thought, okay, there's part one. Got the domains, locked those in, email accounts, all that kind of jazz. And then on to the design aspect of it. And I suppose that's an area that I really enjoy.
I'm not the creative one of this partnership. So I'll just throw that out there now. Jenny is our creative person.
I can get very annoying and meticulous about lines and colours and things, all right. But I have a great friend who is... what is the word? A graphic designer.
Yeah. And that always helps if they're a great friend.
Yes.
Especially in the start-up phase.
Absolutely. Special mates rates and all the rest. But Adrian was very creative. And again, we had a lot of back and forth on this. We started with an entirely different brief than we finished on.
But we knew what we wanted. I mean, we wanted to make sure that, like, there's a science molecule in the middle of it. And a lot of people will miss that, but we're very much into the science behind, we don't come out with these outlandish statements. We don't believe in fad anything. Everything has to be backed up with science, and nobody needs to know that, but we pride ourselves on being based in that. So that's part of our logo,
and
whether anyone even sees it or not.
If you look at
I saw that yesterday, over the weekend.
Science is the
Saturday, I think I saw it. Saturday, yes, when I emailed, because that's what I looked at. I thought the logo is a very logo says an awful lot of who you are and what you're about.
Yeah,
and when you think I just think the apple just says it all.
It's simple, but it looks simple after the fact.
27 drafts later.
And the rest, I'd say, like, red was never our colour schemes. It did change and evolve, but I suppose we knew the fundamentals of what we didn't want, so trying to just get what we wanted, that's where I'd be really bad. I wouldn't know how to even verbalise.
And like you said, the brand represents everything, and it's the logo on all our paper, our social media, our everything. So you really need to like it, and we wanted it to be strong and say, food meets science. This is us. So we eventually landed there, and we're happy with it anyway.
We're happy with it. It's lovely.
I love it too.
Thank you.
How do you connect with your clients and potential clients? Is it through word of mouth, the mainstream media, social media, or medical practitioners?
Combination of all of the above, word of mouth is huge, and even doing things like this, like, people will hear about us. And nutritionals or nutritional therapy is kind of a funny one, because the amount of times people say, oh, we must come in, or I've been meaning to make an appointment, and it could be 6 months or 12 months before they actually manage to make it in. And that's okay too, because people need to be in the right frame of mind before they kick off on a journey for themselves like this. But often it's word of mouth. We have a couple of really good referral streams in Kilkenny with GPs and things like that, and we've had some really nice results that we can go back to GPs and say, well, this person came into us, they were struggling with their cholesterol or pre-diabetes or whatever, and we've managed to help them through their diet to get it under control and avoid taking medication if that's what their goal is. So it's nice to be able to go back and say, the person you sent in, they've achieved what they needed to achieve with this, which is great, and that obviously gives them the confidence to send us more people in the same vein, which is lovely.
But I think you do need to like online and social media and things is a large platform that I knew it was powerful, but a lot of clients come in via, say, Instagram or things like that. They see the posts we put up or something resonates with them, so that is another stream.
Yeah, it's huge.
We have to just go for another quick ad break, but do stay tuned. We'll still be in conversation with Beoga Nutrition with Jenny White and Linda Murray.
We are Community Radio Kilkenny City 88.7 FM.
You're listening to Start Me Up with Roisin and Chleirigh.
You're very welcome back after the break. We are still in conversation with Beoga Nutrition with Jenny White and Linda Murray. So, ladies, we've only got a couple of minutes left. I just quickly want to go through, did you, every startup's encounter obstacles in its way. Did you encounter any obstacles in the initial startup, and how did you overcome them?
I think there'll always be obstacles in various different shapes and sizes, be it, a sick childminder or something could upset the day, or you might block out an hour to do a task which might roll on to 2 or 3 days, and that puts everything else in the back foot. I guess it's just trying to juggle, prioritise tasks, look at the timeline, deadlines, things like that, and just keep working on the most important things to keep the whole show going.
Financially, I suppose it's a struggle too, because like there are supports available for startups, but not like a financial, here we'll give you some money to keep you going this week. And I can understand that to a certain extent, but it does make it quite difficult without having that financial backing to take the leap. And as Jenny said, like, I would find one of the disadvantages of being self-employed is, like, one of the reasons I wanted to be self-employed and not work in a 60-hour week in a medical device company was because I wanted the flexibility around my kids. But then when something unexpected happens and a childminder is sick or a child is sick, I end up having to drop work. And, I don't let the client down, but all of the plans, all the extra stuff that is required in a startup all ends up getting done on the out-of-hours business that you wouldn't necessarily have to do if you have somebody else in the office doing your job while you're not there. So that does make it a bit more challenging. But I do think there was a level of naivety that we had, that we didn't realise some of the stuff that was going to catch us out. But I think we're also very lucky that we've found our roles have kind of organically grown, and we do seem to have covered a wide range of the other tasks between us, which we're lucky about, Just trying to balance it. There's nobody, if we don't turn up for work, there's nobody giving out to us, only each other.
Yeah.
And that's we have to remember that the work doesn't get done unless we do it. So and
that's really the bottom line. That's what it all comes down to. Whether you do it at 2 o'clock in the day or 10 o'clock at night, it just needs to get done, and that's it. So
nutrition therapy we all need nutrition therapy. So we have sort of 10 minutes left of this, so I know, but we'll get you back on another program, the woman to woman, we'll get you to the whole nutrition. But it's very beneficial to all of us, not just us, it's to all species on the client. So tell us about Beoga. What are the issues that people would come to you? You spoke about it briefly earlier on nutrition, weight loss, daily habits around nutritional habits. You mentioned low energy, hormones, digestive, acid reflux, IBS.
Yeah, people don't even mood is huge. But even things like tired all the time. The amount of women in particular who are just wrecked all the time, and they don't know what's causing it, and it's never just one thing ever. They may not be getting enough sleep, or they may not be getting enough water, or they may be nutrient deficient. I heard a really bonkers statistic yesterday, and it was a man who was saying he was doing some research on vitamins and minerals, and there are 37 billion chemical reactions happening in your body every second.
How many?
37 billion.
It's 21 zeros.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they
every
second, and they require vitamins and minerals. And if we're not eating the right food, so
if you're not getting in the vitamins and the minerals, how is that 37 billion reactions supposed to happen? Yeah. You're on the back foot already. And our bodies are really clever. We've loads of back loops to get stuff done, but you kind of run out of your reserves, and one time that it's very
evident to see is after a woman's had a baby and she grows a child and, you know, they get sick afterwards or whatever. It's just because you can see you've grown a person, so the reserves are gone. But this is happening with people who are not pregnant on a daily basis because they're just not fueling themselves, not nourishing themselves. So people often come in going, oh, I know you're going to take me off the treats and you're going to take me off this. We focus on what we want to put in to gain positive health, not focusing on what we're taking out. We want to put in the good stuff. That's really important. And that's one of the big gaps you'd see now.
So, I mean, a lot of people kind of think, oh yeah, good food, bad food. It's never as cut and dry as that. And what we're always trying to do is fuel the body, put in the raw materials, the building blocks that the body needs to build the healthy hormones, the neurotransmitters for your mood or your motivation or whatever, or just keep your energy up, your immune system going. They need vitamins, minerals, you know, a bit of protein, fat, these kind of things. So if you're lacking on any B vitamins or magnesium, whatever the case may be, it's, you know, you just, they are literally the raw materials necessary. It's, as we always say, it's like trying to bake an apple tart with no apples. It doesn't really work.
You know? It just doesn't work. It just, and it will work for a period of time, but then you'll just be wrecked. Or... You know,
or you'll have a few niggles that, you know, I just have this little rash here, that's nothing. Or I always had that kind of mucousy throat. Or that's just me.
Or I just have a bit of constipation. Or I just have a little bit of IBS. They don't just appear.
Yeah.
And they're not always. Sometimes people will have them for a long period of time and they don't even realise it's a problem anymore. And that's where it's kind of interesting when somebody will come in for, you know, one issue. They'll come in for weight loss and all of a sudden you realise there's like 5 or 6 other things that they didn't even realise are problems. Or on a second or follow-up consult, somebody will say, oh, my reflux is gone, and they wouldn't have even listed reflux as an issue. They didn't realise that was something that could go away, but all of a sudden, because we've helped to tidy up their diet slightly, the reflux has disappeared. Or headaches is another one that people don't seem to realise. They shouldn't be happening frequently. There's a reason. So have you a nutrient deficiency or is there something causing an irritation in your body?
Yeah. One thing that when I was talking to you before we came in here, it's inflammation.
Yeah.
Huge.
Inflammation is basically a tool that your body uses when your immune system is under pressure. But inflammation, most people will think, oh, you get a scratch or you get a sore knee and that's inflamed knee. But like one of the potential root causes of Alzheimer's is inflammation. One of, you know, anything, there's an itis, cardiitis, you know, any itis on the end of a word, gastritis, it's all inflammation of that location. So it could be your stomach, it can be your knee, it can be your brain. Like it can be a potential root cause for a lot of things. So one of the things we're trying to do is put in anti-inflammatory foods into people's diet just to help their body cope better with their symptoms. I
use almond nuts, I don't know now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and blueberries, and I eat them every morning for breakfast because I read that they were good for, they're anti-inflammatories.
Almonds are great and blueberries are great, but the one thing we would say is variety is king because they will have nutrients and they're great, but there are other nutrients in other nuts that aren't in almonds, as in other berries that aren't in blueberries. So have your almonds and blueberries, but mix it up every day.
Mix them up
maybe
every
tomorrow
day.
You could have raspberries and walnuts or pecans or, you know, just mix it
or
up.
have it until, you know, obviously you're not going to be buying different for every day. Have it until this container runs out and then you get it the next time you're buying a container of berries, get variety. So like it's a standard line. Oh, I eat vegetables every day, but people are having like peas and carrots or peas and broccoli, and that's it.
With a tomato
and
on a
they're great.
sandwich.
Tomato on a sandwich. That's it exactly. And they're great, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But we're not getting the variety we need, and that's
or the volume
all of your vitamins and minerals are coming from. Variety, colour.
Colour. They say colour, and they say you should try a different vegetable every week, or introduce a different vegetable every week into your diet because it helps the healing process of the body. And
you're supplying different nutrients, number one, but equally you're feeding the good bacteria in our gut, which provides them with the food that they need to perform their tasks to promote health as well. So it's a
win-win.
It's a win-win.
And it tastes nicer if you're getting beautiful local seasonal produce. It tastes delicious. It costs less typically as well if you're buying, you know, whatever is in season. You can bet it's better, higher nutrient levels because it hasn't been sitting in a warehouse for a couple of months.
But
you know,
also,
it's
vegetables can
taste.
be bland and boring and soggy, or they can be crunchy, nutritious, and packed with colour. So, I mean, it is how you prepare them and things. But there's like brilliant clips on YouTube and Instagram, and we put up some on our social media feeds every so often. Vegetables don't have to be boring. They can be really, really tasty.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, but quickly, tell us about how people can connect with you, either on your social media platforms or through your website or your email and phone.
So our social media, mainly we use Instagram, a little bit of Facebook. We're Beoga Nutrition, and we put up all sorts of posts, maybe some recipes, just random facts and things. People can connect with us there. We're trying to give our website a little bit of an overhaul at the moment, so watch out for the new design in the coming few weeks. That's beoganutrition.ie, and you can get us on email either, info@beoganutrition.
And our phone numbers are on the website if anybody's looking for us, or it's on the front door of the office either. You can get our mobile numbers there. But even if you go onto Facebook, I think there's contact details there. You can contact, or even just send an email through the website and we can give you a call back.
Well, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the, I think about our third or fourth Start Me Up business programme. Hopefully you'll come back on the programme regularly, and we'll have you on the Woman to Woman show talking more about the nutritional values and health, maybe in the next couple of weeks.
That'd be great.
Look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Linda Murray and Jenny White from Beoga Nutrition, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to us in Start Me Up business programme here on Community Radio Kilkenny City 88.7 FM.